Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Mayhem live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It's going MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Floyo and Michael Bullock. We're not going to waste any time, guys. We got a lot to talk about tonight, so we're just going to jump right in. Started off with AEW Dynamite, and we started it off with a six-man tag team fight as it was Matt Hardy and the Young Bucks versus Joey Janela and the Private Party. Matt Hardy and the Young Bucks wins the match in 8 minutes and 55 seconds. This was a pretty good match, solid fight, about maybe 2.5 to 3 stars. Solid for the very end, but then Butcher and the Blade came out, they jumped them, and once we saw that, we're like, oh no, this is not good. But then it got very interesting. A truck drove up to the venue, and you're like, what the hell? Who are these guys? The minute the two guys got out of the car, we exactly knew who they were. This was Dawson and Wilder. However, they're now being called Dak Harwood and Cash Wheeler, otherwise known formerly the Revival of the WWE. Now they're being called FTR. Now, if you guys been watching Being the Elite on YouTube.com, you know what FTR means. I'm not even going to repeat it here tonight. But they showed up. They jump. They jump the heels out of the ring, and they had a stare down with the Young Bucks. And if you know, the Young Bucks were the ones to start the FTR, well, let me give you three little letters. FTB. If you don't know what that means, Google it. That's my feeling about the whole situation. You wanted them, you got them. The greatest tag team is now in AEW. Not only that, but they're also going to be parlaying with NWA. So you'll see them in AEW, you'll see them in NWA, because they've signed contracts with both companies. They were, and the one thing that Anthony alluded to before their release, before they got their immediate release, was they were looking to become the greatest tag team in wrestling. One of the companies that Anthony had spewed was NWA. And one tag team we were looking at was possibly the Rock and Roll Express. Even though Rock and Roll Express and, NWA, we don't know what's going on with them, because they're in the same boat as everybody else around the world. We're all kind of wondering what's going to happen with wrestling. Are they going to come back? Are they not going to come back? If they do, will they start recording shows? What's going to be the factor with them? All we need to know is that now they're in AEW. So, all those jokes, those FTR jokes about the Revival, it's going to come back to haunt the Bucks. And they're, who knows, they might end up as a victim to the Shatter Machine sooner rather than later. FTB is what I say. Anthony Floyo, it's yours.
My word. What was the rating that you gave MF?
About 2.5 to 3.
Okay. I'm giving it 3. This was an action-packed opener that was not always pretty, particularly after Quen's unfortunate injury, but it was always energetic and fun. The real meat of the segment, and thus as responsible for the rating as anything, was the arrival of FTR, the artist formerly known as Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder in the WWE kicked ass and had the announcers buzzing, as well as all of us. as they came face to face with the Young Bucks. The lack of a physical encounter between them will only help spark more interest and excitement for their eventual bout, while creating intrigue as to what the new team's motivations really are. A hell of a segment and bout to kick things off, and a very newsworthy start to the Dynamite after Double or Nothing. Wouldn't you agree, Michael Bullock, as I give it to you?
Oh yeah, I totally agree with you on that, my friend. So yeah, as far as the match goes, I mean, I do agree. It's a 2.5 to 3 star match, as as far as I'm concerned. I mean, a nice way to start off Dynamite. But yeah, I mean, FTR now in AEW. Man, I can't wait to see what they have in store for AEW, especially for the Young Bucks. You put these two teams in a match, you're looking at something really really good here. But that's down the line. But for this 2.5 to 3, there's really nothing more to say. Let's move right along, Fletch.
And we do move right along, as it was Brian Cage making his, I guess you could say, official one-on-one debut in AEW, going up against Lee Johnson. Brian Cage demolishes him in a minute and 15 seconds. We really got nothing more to add on that. We're just going to move right along. Next up we had was the announcement by Dr. Britt Baker, and yes, guys, it was bad news. Dr. Britt Baker will be out until Labor Day. So she will not be competing anytime soon. But she did open fire on a lot of people going out the door. She took shots at Chris Statlander. She took shots at Sheeta. And she took an unnecessary shot at the referee, Aubrey Edwards. For what reason, I don't know. Anthony Florio, I know you love Dr. Britt Baker. I know you love her heel persona. But why the hell is she going after Aubrey? What the hell did she do?
Have you listened to the Unrestricted podcast, MF? Well,
What unrestricted podcast?
You don't know?
No!
Aubrey Edwards and Tony Schiavone do a podcast called Unrestricted. You can listen to it on AEW's YouTube channel. Now, here's where I'm going with this. Aubrey Edwards, as we all know, and we're all in agreement on this, not just us, but every diehard wrestling fan in the IWC, everyone knows Aubrey Edwards is a fantastic referee. But the idea of incorporating her into an angle when she has expressed many times on the AEW Unrestricted podcast that the referees are not to take the spotlight away from the wrestlers feels like an iffy creative move. At least it makes sense, though. Dr. Britt was excellent here, and the idea of her using Rebel to wait on her hand and foot is a great touch that will only make her entitled attitude that much more unlikable. If handled correctly, she can build more heat for herself doing promos like this, so when she comes back, she is an even bigger part of the women's division than when she left. Labor Day, wow, that is very good news. I thought it was going to be a lot worse. I mean, I thought she was gonna be gone for in excess of 9 or more months, which would meant the rest of this year and a little in the next year. But
that's almost about half the time if I think about it, because we're in May and Labor Day's in September, like at
about
early.
About 3.25,
About
3.5 months.
Yeah, so it's almost a
third
third of the time. Yeah, a third
Amazing.
of the injury time that we thought it was going to be. So thank God they said it was a PCL. I guess it wasn't a complete tear. It probably was a partial tear.
And while it stinks that we're not going to have her for pretty much the summer. I mean, to know that she'll be back right around Labor Day or so, that is fantastic news. Maybe she'll be she'll probably be still out of the next pay-per-view event, which is the All Out, which is Labor Day weekend, Saturday, September 5.
Well, actually, she's saying she will return at All Out. So she will be back for September 5. So right now she's projected to be back by then. She's out of Fyter Fest, and if any other events prior to, she'll be out. But she's targeting All Out to make her return.
Okay, so there you go. That's huge.
You probably didn't follow the promo that well there, Florio, didn't you?
Well, here's the thing. I had other things going on.
All right.
I had one thing in particular that ran a little longer than I would have liked, even though it was very enjoyable.
Okay. No, fair enough. I'm just trying to get. I'm just trying. No. I'm just trying to be the pain in the ass, and that's me trying to be the heel commentator. I'm just trying to poke you a little bit. That's all it is, Florio. I'm not trying to be. I'm just trying to be the bad commentator like I am on Raw.
Well, when it comes to Ridiculously Raw, that's all you. But on this show, it's usually me that gives you the guff here. So, but we all have commitments that we have to honor, and I had one that I had to honor, and I was a little late to the dance, so that was it. And I forgot to put a DVR in, and that's what I should have done. Never again. That's all I know. But anyways, it was a great segment here. I'm very high on Dr. Britt Baker there, so I'm keeping you in prayer, my dear. That's all there is to say on that. And this summer, it's gonna stink not having you in a ring this summer. But hey, it is what it is. So, but I definitely, I think this persona is gonna, really get going here now that she's got Rebel, being like her slave there. A very humbling use for Rebel. I mean, formerly of Impact Wrestling and the Menagerie and other things. So there you go. So good way to, good moment there. I'm glad it's not as worse as I thought. I'm very grateful for that. So nothing more to say. Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought this was a good promo. I mean, yeah, I just feel bad for Dr. Britt Baker that she's going to be out of action for the entire summer. But yeah, I mean, thank goodness it's not as bad as what we originally thought it was going to be. But still, she's going to be out for a while. So yeah, I mean, blaming it on people like first Chris Statlander and Hikaru Shida, the new AEW Women's World Champion, and on the referee Aubrey Edwards. Now, I know she's trying to be a rebel. I know that she's trying to be I get that. But what in the freaking hell did Aubrey Edwards do to get on your bad side? What did she do? She was just doing her job as the referee. So for her to go after Aubrey Edwards, a much respected referee in AEW, and I'm going to use the old saying that we've done here at the Wrestling Forum, guys, and that is pointless, unnecessary, unacceptable, inexcusable, irresponsible, and borderline reprehensible, as far as I'm concerned. I've got a lot of respect for Aubrey Edwards as the referee, and for her to attack her like that is totally uncalled for. That's just how I feel. I know other people are going to have different opinions about it, but you know what? That's just me. Fletch, it's yours.
It's been ages since we heard that famous line. Thank you, Michael Bullock, for bringing old school back into the building. because that used to be our decorum way back in the day. I mean, it's been a
Yeah,
long time since we've heard those words uttered ever again.
well, with what we're going through right now, I think it's only appropriate that we go back to a little old school here at the Wrestling Forum.
Absolutely, I no disagreement with me on that. And look, Dr. Britt Baker did a great job cutting her promo. She did an amazing job, and she blames everybody else for her injury. You only got yourself to blame on that, honey. You should have watched yourself. You got to be a little more careful. But in the grand scheme of things, it works as a heel. It works that she doesn't want the she's trying to get all the sympathy in the world, but nobody's gonna give it to her. They're gonna call her a spoiled little brat in the whole 9 yards, and it works. That's what you want. As a major heel, this is exactly what you're gonna get. And now I would love to see her do something a la what WWE did with Randy Orton, and that was the vignettes about, oh, this amount of time coming back, and the whole 9 yards. You remember when Randy Orton suffered that shoulder injury and was out of action for a long time? They had all these vignettes with Randy Orton. Actually, he even interrupted an interview with Shawn Michaels before the Elimination Chamber, and saying that he had a minor setback, that he'll be back in a few weeks, and this and that. But it played up into his heel persona that set him up to become the Legend Killer. This is Dr. Britt Baker, even though she will not be in action anymore, but it works her up to possibly become the top heel in AEW, and maybe, just maybe, when she returns to the ring, and right now it looks like All Out might be the event, it might actually open the door for her to possibly become a major player and maybe a future AEW Women's World Champion. You never know. She had a decent record prior to the injury, so we'll have to wait and see how that resets and sets up. Speaking of AEW champions, we had Hikaru Shida, the AEW Women's World Champion, put it in a non-title fight against Christy James, and Shida wins the match, 5 minutes and 20 seconds. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you want to make Hikaru Shida look good. I mean, especially after winning the AEW Women's World Title at Double or Nothing, which I'll be quite honest, guys. I mean, I seen it. It definitely shocked me. I mean, I thought Nyla Rose was gonna go over, but they obviously have confidence in Hikaru Shida that they wanted to put the title on her. So it's going to be interesting to see what AEW has planned for her, who her first opponent's going to be for that AEW Women's World Title. So as far as the match goes, I'll give it about 1.5 for the effort. Fletch, it's yours.
Partial disagreement. I'm gonna actually go maybe 2.25. I thought this was an okay fight. Yeah, it was 5 minutes long. I mean, it was good for what it was worth, but it was more competitive. Normally you would think, the champion's gonna look good in this fight. No, I thought this was really well. I thought this was excellent. You got to give it up. And you got to give a lot of credit where credit was due to Christy James. I mean, she didn't look like she was going to do much in the fight, and she actually took Shida to the limit a little bit, even though the outcome was never in doubt. But Shida had a fight here, and she really had to dig down and scrap down towards the end. So, nice little sprint. Not bad. Florio, it's yours.
2.5 stars. That's the correct rating for this. This was an interesting use of Hikaru Shida in that she just had this huge win over Nyla Rose a woman no one else was able to thwart during her run as the AEW Women's World Champion, but struggled here at times against Christy James in a match that should have been a one sided squash to really establish her as the undisputed face of the division. As it was still an opportunity to get the new champion on the show and help her build some momentum after a career defining win last Saturday night. So, no question about it. 2.5 stars, and nothing makes my night than when we get to hear the beautiful Dasha say Hikaru Shida. Oh, I always get chills every time I hear that. It's awesome. Now I know why you love this so much, MF.
Oh, yes. All right. Next up we had was the new AEW TNT champion Cody Rhodes. He cut a promo. It was definitely well done. There's really nothing more to add. Then we had a tag team fight. It was Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky SCU versus Jimmy Havoc and Kip Sabian along with Penelope Ford, and the winners of this fight would get an opportunity at the AEW World Tag Team titles. Now you're like, wait a minute, hold up, time. I thought the best friends gets the opportunity at the belts first. What is going on? Okay, let me explain. Excalibur explained that the best friends, Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor, will receive their AEW title match at Fyter Fest. So they're guaranteed the title match. They will get their shot, but they're going to have to wait till Fyter Fest, whenever that happens. We don't know when it's going to be, not yet, but at Fyter Fest, they get their shot at the belts. But the winner of this fight will get their shot, I believe I heard, next week. So, with that said, the winners of the bout, and now the contenders to fight for the AEW World Tag Team titles, were Jimmy Havoc and Kip Sabian. They win the match in 12 minutes and 10 seconds. Excellent match. I could even go as far to possibly even call this, I was going to say fight of the night, but I'm probably not going to call it. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. But I'll wait to see what Florio and the other guys talk about. But this was excellent. This was a great match. The psychology was great. It brought the house down. This was easily 3.5 stars for me. So I really got nothing more to add. Anthony, I give it to you.
Agreed, MF. The only downside is that the commercial break took a lot out of this one, but the action picked up late and really showcased Scorpio Sky in particular. Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc's partnership has been one of the revelations of this pandemic, so a championship opportunity on next week's show will be a nice reward for their growth over the last 2 months. Penelope Ford's presence at ringside means they are always capable of leaving with their arms raised in victory, and with best friends as the top contenders at Fyter Fest, it would certainly make sense for a heel team to enter the show as champion. Regardless of if they win or not, Sabian and Havoc have earned this opportunity, and a potential long-term tag team run should not be out of the question for these guys. So that's really all I can say on this. 3.5 stars. MF nailed it. You could definitely make an argument for fight of the night here. Absolutely. I have no qualms about that whatsoever. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, Sabian, and Havoc. Golden opportunity of a lifetime. They get the Hangman and Omega next week for the World Tag Team Championships with the best friends waiting in the weeds at Fyter Fest.
Yeah, definitely a huge opportunity for Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc. Yeah, I'll give it about 3.5 stars as well. I mean, this was definitely a good match. I definitely enjoyed it. I thought both teams looked pretty good, and yeah, Penelope Ford's presence at ringside definitely helps out. And now they're going to get the opportunity at the AEW World Tag Team titles next week. So can they cash in? We're just gonna have to wait and find out. And before we move on, Fletch, I'm just happy of one thing that happened that didn't happen in this match.
The kiss?
Yeah,
No kiss?
yeah. Thank goodness for that. I because I would have said it again. Get a room, you two.
Okay. All right.
That's all I
Um,
wanted to. Now we can move along.
all right. Um, Next up, Michael Bullock's best friend in the whole wide world, MJF, cut it a promo. We're not gonna talk about it, Bullock, so I'll save you the rage for the night. And then we had ourselves the Battle Royale to determine the man who will get the first opportunity to fight for the TNT Championship. And when it was all said and done, the winner of the bout in 11 minutes and 45 seconds, Jungle Boy. Yes, Jungle Boy wins the match. He will fight Cody next week at AEW Dynamite for the TNT title. Oh my goodness. Anthony Florio, the most unlikeliest of contenders, has just arisen. Jungle Boy, the son of the late Luke Perry, now has a chance at immortality.
Indeed, he does. And the one thing that we all here's another thing we can all agree on. One thing that makes AEW stand out from WWE: unpredictability.
Mmm.
I mean, we see these matches in WWE so many times. We're like, oh yeah, this guy or this gal's gonna win. Yeah, whatever. Why are we even bothering with this? Well, I'll be honest with you. Going into this, I thought either MJF or Wardlow was gonna win this battle royal, but no, an out of nowhere winner. I mean, here's unpredictability right here. They didn't give it to the most obvious. They gave it to someone that we didn't even think was gonna win, and that was awesome. Battle royales are notoriously difficult to pull off to great effect. There are so many guys involved, so much punching and kicking. Unless the storytelling is on point, they're fairly run of the mill. Despite some interesting and entertaining pairings, this was essentially every other battle royale ever. MJF was a bright spot, though the teases of a split with Wardlow feel a bit premature. Then there was the AEW dark rivalry between Cutler and Avalon, revisited, and Billy Gunn's nice run. Jungle Boy winning was absolutely the right call, given the strength of his pay-per-view match with MJF. Winning in this setting helps him recover from his loss there, and doing so while eliminating his rival with a nice touch. The match with Cody will be a major moment for young Jack Perry. And if there is any performer capable of elevating this star, it is the TNT champion. But Orange Cassidy was great here in limited action, and the tease of a rivalry with him in the inner circle could mean big things for the King of Sloth style. So a lot of positives came out of this. So I'm going to give this a solid 3 stars for the effort. I think that tag team match with Sabian and Havoc and STU, I think that was the fight of the night in match. No arguments here. That was fight of the night. So I'm going to give you that. But this was pretty close. And another reason for the rating is the surprise winner. It was not the predictable. I thought they were going to go right back to MJF and or Wardlow, but no. They gave it to someone who damn sure deserves it. And all I know is Papa Luke up there in heaven saying, I could swear I heard him saying, that's my boy. So that's your boy, Papa Luke. And just imagine how wide that smile of yours is going to be up there if your boy does the unthinkable again next week. This is the biggest win of Jungle Boy's career, hands down, right here. And it could lead to an even bigger win next week. Keyword could. Will it?
I don't think so.
No. You really want to take it off for Cody that soon? No. It would be great unpredictability, but no. Sorry, son, but what I do know is this. this has the potential to be the TV match of the year right here. This has potential to be 4.5, maybe even higher. This has show stealer potential written all over it. So there's nothing more to say except this is one match from AEW that I will put NXT on the back burner for next week. No doubts about it. So nothing more to say. 3 stars. Michael Bullock. Unlike WWE, there was no predictability here. We got a surprise winner. Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, biggest win of his AEW career so far, could lead to an even bigger win next week, but I don't think it will.
Yeah, 3 stars for me. I mean, I thought this was a good battle royal, and yeah, the unpredictability. I don't think anybody had Jungle Boy winning this, and I thought it would have been someone like MJF or Wardlow, but no, they decided to go with Jungle Boy. So a big win for him, and it could be a bigger win for him next week when he faces Cody for the TNT Championship. But I do agree. I see Cody keeping the belt. I don't see him losing it any. I think it would be too early to take the title off of him. But you never know. I mean, they may do the unthinkable again. They may go the unpredictability route and do it again. But I don't see it happening. So nothing more to say. Fletch, I give it to you.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see. And AEW is already setting up to be a very hype show next week. I mean, Cody versus Jungle Boy for the TNT title. Paige and Omega versus Havoc and Sabian for the AEW World Tag Team titles. Jericho will be in action. Plus, they're also hyping Moxley versus Brian Cage at Fyter Fest, and they're labeling it as sometime this summer. So we don't know about that, but dude, AEW is really setting themselves up really well for next week. I mean, 2 title fights already? Dude, what are you trying to do? Trying to steal the NXT thunder here like they did a couple of weeks ago? There was like 2 title fights in NXT. Now AEW with 2 title fights next week? Alright, let's see how that turns out. Then we had the Inner Circle, and I guess you could call this an Inner Circle pep rally or something like that. I don't know.
That's what it was, a pep rally.
Yeah, okay. Well, then it was interrupted by Iron Mike Tyson and Bullock. Unfortunately, brother, you're gonna have to lead off on this segment, so it's all yours.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know what to say about it. Yeah, I don't even have the words to describe what we saw. So it would be tough for me to describe what we saw tonight. So I'm not really going to get into it that much. So you know what, Fletch, I'm going to let you just take it from here
I want to call
and
this.
basically describe.
Yeah, this was almost an absolute train wreck. I mean, AEW, you were doing so good, and then it went off the tracks on this one. I don't know. I don't like it. I mean, Jericho was entertaining. Some of the guys on Inner Circle were entertaining. But it went off the tracks when Tyson showed up. That's when everything went into heck in a handbasket. Sorry, boys. I'm just going to call it the way I see it. It was fine, but ugh, bitter taste in the mouth. That's all I'm gonna call it. One of the worst segments of the night, and yeah, AEW, you don't need to do that. That was one that you just didn't need to go. That was one that where I wish you didn't go. Honestly, Florio, go.
The pep rally was not nearly the level you would expect from the Inner Circle, but there were still a few great one-liners and gags. What that lacked, the brawl between Jericho and Tyson more than made up for. On a night when AEW officially began year two, it bookended its show with the debut of FTR and a pull apart featuring a world renowned star recently back in the news for an attempted comeback. Who really knew what the agreement with Tyson is? But if AEW somehow signed him for a match of any kind with Jericho and company, it may have pulled off the biggest coup of this renewed wrestling war. Think about that for a minute. But I do agree it was a train wreck of a segment, even though the Jericho and Tyson stuff was hella fun. So that's the only thing that saved it. But other than that, I'm with you guys. Let's not get too much. Let's not get too much further into detail here. Let's try to pick it up here. Let's move on.
Overall review or final thoughts? This is a good show. I mean, look, regardless of what we may think about the final segment, I mean, it was alright. I mean, there was a couple of good moments here that we could just talk about that we'd be like, man, certain things kind of worked, other things not so much. I'm not going to poo-poo completely over this. I thought this was a solid show. So, I mean, solid, but not overly great. I mean, last week's AEW was flawless. Double or Nothing was really good. It was good in some instances. The main event just absolutely just tore it down. So I mean, it was solid. And then this AEW kind of took a little bit of a step back, but not a major step. So I'm not gonna bash it like hardcore, but it was alright. Let's go Randy Jackson, dog. It was alright for me. So, nothing more to say, Florio, go.
I agree. Top to nearly bottom, AEW brought it with storytelling in the ring as well as out. A stellar debut by Brian Cage, some intrigue with the presence of FTR, a nice cameo by Christy James. They do a lot of little things that mean so much more to the viewer, casual or otherwise. But other than that, a solid show this week, but the ending didn't do much for us. So that's all there is to say on that. So Michael Bullock, quickly, and then we'll get into NXT.
Yeah, it was an alright show. I mean, it was a little bit of a step back from what we saw with last week's AEW Dynamite and that Double or Nothing pay-per-view. Some of the stuff was like good, but it was just that ending that just left a bitter taste in my mouth. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. I mean, so let's just move right along to NXT, Fletch.
Oh boy, do we have a great jump off for NXT, guys. This was it. The big fight. The final in Group A. The triple threat match to determine who goes and fight El Hijo de Fantasma for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship, the interim Cruiserweight title. And when it was all said and done, it was Jake Atlas, Kushida, and Drake Maverick. Drake Maverick wins Group A. He wins the match in 7 minutes and 53 seconds. He will fight El Hijo del Fantasma for the Cruiserweight title. Oh my goodness. This was a great match. What a fight. Very good match. Fast paced. And yes, even the live crowd, and it was a small crowd, but it was the same thing like they did with Monday Night Raw. A lot of the guys from NXT, maybe some guys who were developmental guys, they all showed up. They were watching the match. They got into it. They made me feel invested in this fight. 3 to 3.5 stars. This was excellent. This was a tremendous jump off. Congratulations, Drake Maverick. I know a lot of people were saying, oh, but Drake's fired. Well, it doesn't look like he's fired now. Looks like he might be one win away from making an ultimate return to WWE. So, I mean, this was great news. So, the ultimate comeback. Florio, it's yours.
3.5 stars is my rating, MF. I mean, while there is no real telling what WWE is doing with Maverick when his contract expires, his story has been so incredible to watch, hasn't it? I mean, he has gone from doing nothing to defeating some of the best up-and-coming cruiserweights in the business. He has shaped this tournament more than anyone else, including some fantastic talent. It will be interesting to see what happens with Phantasma in the finals. Win or lose, Maverick, in my honest opinion, MF, has certainly earned a new contract, without a doubt. So, 3.5 stars, great way to start off the show. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, that's how you start off a show, right there.
Oh yes, definitely. 3.5 stars. I do agree with the rating. Although you guys forgot to mention something, there was a little bit of
Yes, there was
controversy.
controversy. Yes, Atlas tapped out. I mean, Kushida tapped out. Kushida tapped out before the 3 count, so that ending should not have counted.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Controversy.
oh boy. Mike Bullock, your boys are under the microscope tonight.
I'm throwing a challenge flag and calling a foul.
So, are you
Oh,
are you are you guys are you guys going to still stick with your ratings, or are you going to go lower because of the?
no, I'm gonna stick with my 3.5 star rating. I thought this was an excellent match.
Match was too good.
But you can't really. You know what? I could see. Well. I think Jake Atlas might have a gripe here. Because if Atlas was the one that got the tap out before the 3, I think Atlas might have a gripe here, but oh boy, this is gonna get interesting.
Yeah, it's 3.5 stars for me. But like you said, the controversy. It just leaves like us like, oh boy, somebody effed up on this. I would have to say the referee. Now I don't know who the referee was from that match, but whoever it is, ooh, he's gonna. I'll bet you his social media account right now is blowing up right on him, and not in a good way. And don't be surprised if Jake Atlas has a little bone to pick with the referee after this. So 3.5 stars. So it's going to be interesting to see what Jake Atlas is going to have to say. But for right now, Drake Maverick moves on to the finals of the for the interim NXT Cruiserweight title. So Fletch, whoever that referee is, has got a lot of explaining to do.
Well, wait a minute. It says here that Atlas tapped out. Was it Atlas who tapped out or Kushida? Because if Atlas tapped out, that means he's out of the picture. That means Kushida would be the one that has the gripe. Who tapped out?
Atlas tapped out. Kushida's got a gripe.
So Kushida has the gripe and not... Okay, now that changes everything.
Exactly.
So Kushida is the one that's got a gripe with whoever the referee is.
Okay.
Exactly right.
So that's what I wanted to know, because I was like, wait a minute, I got here because on my notes it has Atlas tapped out. So I'm like, wait a minute. So Kushida's got the gripe. Well, if the Mr. Regal, you got yourself quite a dilemma on your hands, and I can't wait to find out what on earth you're gonna do next week on this one. Now, normally they would say the referee's decision is final. Do you stick with that? Or is there something more added to the line? Because, Maverick won. He's technically now gonna fight. But if Atlas tapped out before the 3, that would have given Kushida the win. I think there might be one more fight, guys. I think Group A is not done. I think you gotta have to do Kushida versus Drake. Sorry, Drake. You thought you had it all sewn up, but unfortunately, I think you're gonna have to go one more round. Just personal. All right. So next up we had was Johnny Gargano against Adrian Alanis. And Gargano wins the match in 45 seconds. But after the fight was over, Keith Lee and Mia Yim basically, well, they did a spoof of Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae's little dinner table segment. And also, and oh my god, Keith Lee broke the freaking fourth wall. And he absolutely just, uh, it was so hilarious. Anthony Florio, we don't have to talk about the fight, but oh
We
my,
have to talk about the segment. We absolutely have to talk about
oh my god, the storyline progression.
This was awesome. Are you kidding me, MF? Tell me you didn't enjoy this. I dare you to tell me you didn't enjoy
Dude,
it.
I was laughing so freaking hard. I couldn't believe
I
they.
was crying. I was laughing so hard, man.
Dude, I couldn't believe they were. I could not believe that they were actually doing this, and they actually did it better.
Right?
They did it better.
They certainly did it better than those two crybabies, Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae.
I couldn't believe it.
That was hands down 10 times freaking better.
Dude, that was non-wrestling segment of the night. Yeah.
Amen. That was the segment of the night. Do I have to spell it out any further?
No, I couldn't believe, and I couldn't believe Keith Lee broke the fourth wall. I'm like, he literally broke kayfabe. You're like, wow, oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, there you go, guys. That's our thoughts. We loved it.
And the thing is, I mean, when Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae do it, it's like, yawn, who cares? But these two made it certainly more entertaining than what than what Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae do. I mean, they're like all serious, but these two, they actually brought out the fun in it, and I enjoyed it. And I know if Gargano and LeRae were listening to us, they probably say, "Oh, the disrespect of those three wannabe wrestling insiders or whatever you want to call them,
internet trolls."
Yeah, but you know what? You know what? My message to those two: too damn bad.
Cool. All right. Next up, we had a one-on-one match, as it was Shotzi Blackheart versus Raquel Gonzalez. Raquel Gonzalez wins the match in 5 minutes and 42 seconds. But there was a moment in the fight. Shotzi Blackheart, oh my freaking god! What the hell? The moonsault off the second rope, and she almost decapitated herself. Florio, do you want to take this?
I absolutely do want to take this. The match, the match wasn't really the best. It was about 2 to 2.5. But I know Shotzi Blackheart. You know me being the Impact guy. I mean, I saw her in Impact. She was balls to the wall there. She's even more balls to the wall here. That's always been her mantra, and that's always going to be her mantra. She's the female equivalent of a Darby Allin. I mean, here's someone who is willing, but it's a case of getting too hyped. You get too hyped, it's gonna 9 times out of 10, it's gonna cost you in the end. It cost Darby Allin Saturday night, and it nearly cost Shotzi here. But 2 to 2.5 is the rating. These two are never gonna have a great match. Both women are too inexperienced to put on a consistent match. However, they did show some serious potential here. Blackheart has impressive athletic gifts. I should know because I saw her in Impact. And Gonzalez is the powerhouse the division really needs. The story was what carried this. Blackheart and Knox are good foils for Kai and Gonzalez. And right now, when it comes to the women's division, this is the most consistently built story in the division right now. So I gotta call it as I see it. So I'm gonna give this about 2 to 2.5 for the effort. So, but man, Shotzi, I mean, I love you. I love balls to the wall. I love that style, but sometimes you gotta take a moment and say, okay, that was too much. Bring the fight, absolutely bring the fight, but don't bring it too much, because if you do, well, then play with fire, you're gonna get burned, darling.
Mm.
So be careful next time, please. Don't scare us like that again. So, but hey, at least we got a Mamma Mia from Mauro Ranallo, so that made up for it.
Yeah, we did.
So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, 2 to 2.5 stars. But boy, howdy, Shotzi Blackheart, she gave us all a scare, but thankfully all is well.
Yeah, thankfully she's okay. But Shotzi Blackheart, I know you're a chancy a female wrestler, but don't you ever scare me like that again. I mean, if you do it from the top rope, that's fine, but doing it from the second rope, oh my gosh, like you said, Fletch, she almost freaking decapitated herself. I mean, oy, she's got to be more careful. But I think what you guys also missed from this after the match, during the final moments of the match, Candice LeRae showed up because, well, I think it was during that thing with Keith Lee and Mia Yim, Tegan Knox showed up in that video,
Yeah.
and obviously uh, Candice LeRae had a bone to pick with Tegan Knox, and it ended up costing Shotzi Blackheart, which also obviously led Dakota Kai with an ultimate cheap shot. So yeah, so two and a half. I do agree. Fletch, I give it to you.
Yeah, no, 2.5, and Shotzi, she tried to do a springboard trust fall. That's what it was. It was a springboard trust fall, and it's like she almost landed right on her head on the floor. Like that's how bad it was. It's a crazy move, and it's absolutely like it's freaking awesome to watch. But oh my god, don't ever pull a stunt like that ever again. That's all we're saying, Shotzi. We love you. We don't want you to get hurt. Michael Bullock almost had an aneurysm when he saw that move. I think he probably went all three shades of white on that. He almost turned into Casper the Friendly Ghost. So I mean, well, let's move right along. It was a tag team fight. Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai versus Charlotte Flair and Chelsea Green with Mr. Robert Stone in the corner. Chelsea Green and Charlotte Flair wins the match in 8 minutes and 18 seconds. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
I'll give this about 2.5 to 3 for the effort. Even though I'm probably leaning more towards 2.5. Obviously, everybody wonders. There was obviously dissension with Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley. Obviously, we all know, especially after what happened 2-3 weeks ago when Io Shirai challenged Charlotte Flair for the NXT Women's Championship. So, yeah, and obviously Charlotte and Chelsea Green definitely took advantage of it. So, it definitely adds a lot more going into this triple threat match for the NXT Women's Championship at Takeover in Your House. So, nothing more to say. It's yours.
Yeah, I agree with that. This was a good match. This was about 2.5 to 3. Really nothing more to add. Florio, go.
3 stars for me. This was not only a good tag team match, but helped to solidify a stronger role for Chelsea Green in NXT. She works far better trying to prove herself to Charlotte than playing overconfident on her own. The moment where she saved the Queen and took a dropkick for her was the best character beat of her career. Ripley and Shirai also make for a great tag team. As always, NXT's women's division is deeper than any other WWE women's roster. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, I think, should venture to the black and gold brand soon. That's just my thought. So, really nothing more to say on that. 3 stars, that's my rating for this. So let's move on, MF.
All right, then we had a whole bunch of different segments after that. It led to one match, which was Tommaso Ciampa versus Leon Ruff. Ciampa wins the match in 1 minute and 16. We're not going to talk about that because we had Ciampa and Scarlett, and then Killer Cross showed up, and he talked about the special person, and then, talking about the TikTok and everything else. So it was cool. They did officially announce it, guys. So apparently, what happened was Kushida did go to Drake and said, "Go get it, man. You go after the title." So basically, he conceded the victory. No arguments, no controversy. Kushida conceded to Drake Maverick. So next week on NXT, it will be El Hijo del Fantasma versus Drake Maverick for the interim NXT Cruiserweight Championship of the World. Then our main event, which was in a fight pit match with special guest referee Kurt Angle, Matt Riddle versus Timothy Thatcher. Matt Riddle wins the match in 11 minutes via a TKO.
Fletch, I gotta correct you. It was Timothy Thatcher who won the match via submission.
Well, it says technical knockout, so I'm guessing it's a TKO via submission. Well, technical submission in about 11 minutes. Thatcher wins the fight. Holy freaking crap! Okay, I'm calling it 4.5 stars. I could even call 5. This is the NXT Fight of the Year. I'm calling it now. This is the NXT Fight of the Year. This fight was freaking awesome. There was psychology. There was MMA. There was the battle, the war. There was bad blood. Thatcher lost 2 teeth. Lost teeth. Was bleeding. And still won the freaking fight. This was... And to have Mauro Ranallo, a guy who does MMA for a living, this made this fight worth the price of admission. This is a shut up and take my money type deal, and there's nothing else that could top this. For me, screw it. NXT Fight of the Year. Right now.
Amen.
Florio, go.
5 stars, MF. No, I'm going to pull a Dave Meltzer. 6 stars. That's the correct rating for this match. I don't give a damn. I'm pulling a Dave Meltzer on this. 6 stars. I mean, this was one of the greatest main events I've ever seen. The physicality made the weird stipulation work. Both men made it feel like a real fight. Angle, not really necessary, but it might have caused more fans to tune in, which is what WWE cares about right now. The NXT pit fight should be Timothy Thatcher's signature bout. He works so well in this environment. His win was definitive and should help him build momentum toward future opponents. He needs to move past the original bro. And that fight pit, insane. I mean, it was part steel cage, part Lion's Den from the Attitude Era, a la Ken Shamrock from 20 years ago when he had one against the late great Owen Hart and then the other against Steve Blackman. But anyways, I mean, 6 stars. I mean, that's the rating that I really want to give. But 5 is the max. So we're going to do that, even though I really want to pull a Meltzer on this. So, but man alive, that was insane. I mean, good luck to any other match in NXT to try to top that. I know they're gonna come close, but I don't know if anything's gonna top that. That was just insanity. So yeah, that Thatcher spot, ooh, yeah, that was cringeworthy, no doubt about that. But that shows you how tough an SOB he is, and I gained a lot of respect for that guy here tonight. So. And as for the original bro, I think this might have been the end for him in NXT because there have been rumors going around that the original bro is SmackDown bound, MF. So yeah, you can thank Brock Lesnar for that because Brock Lesnar, he does not like Matt Riddle whatsoever. They had an altercation at the Royal Rumble, so that's why Matt Riddle when he goes to the main roster will not be Monday Night Raw. He will be SmackDown bound, and he could be on there as early as this week or maybe even next week. So,
Oh my God, the timing
original
could
bro
not be,
is coming to Fridays.
dude. And
He's
the
going to be
time,
smacking your TV on Fox.
dude, I'm gonna say, and the timing could not be any more better for SmackDown Live because it looks like we've hit our stride, and now all of a sudden the original bro, Matt Riddle, SmackDown bound, dude.
Yep.
If we, the only man I want now, just for the hell of it, give me the Broserweight, please.
He's done.
Give me Pete freaking Dunne. Let them, because I don't think they're even done with that rivalry. With Dunne versus Riddle, I don't think that thing's done by a long shot. If we can get done, well, first, you got to get the flight restrictions lifted, and we need to get them back. Yeah, we need to get the UK back. Like, we need them to come back. We need Imperium back. We need Kaylee Ray. Huh?
Jordan Devlin, the real cruiserweight champion.
Oh, definitely Devlin, without a doubt, needs to come back like in a heartbeat. Cause we need our champion back. We need Walter. We need Imperium back. Even though I think some of the guys want Imperium away, but still. But we need Walter back. We need the UK champ back. So I mean, oh man, damn, if we can. Nothing more to say. Bullet, go quick.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 5 stars as well. This is freaking awesome. I mean, you guys pretty much touch base on everything, so let's just get to final thought.
Well, I don't think there's gonna be much of a final thought. All I think we're gonna say is NXT literally won the night, especially with the final segments of the evening. That was a whitewash. That was a wipeout, as we would say, boys. NXT slammed the door on AEW and crushed them, especially in the final fight. The Fight Pit versus Chris Jericho and the Inner Circle's little pep rally. Yeah, I think we know where the W's going, and it is definitely going to USA and NXT. Michael Bullock, take a bow, my friend. Your NXT claims victory here tonight. Florio, final thought.
What else is there to say? I mean, this was a great episode of NXT. The cruiserweight stuff was entertaining. The Gargano Yemen Lee segment was funny. The women's tag was good. The main event was fun, creative, and as barbaric as you could ever see. It took physicality and be a man to a whole new level. They continued building things for TakeOver, and most of the show was entertaining without ever really dragging. So, yeah, no doubt about it. NXT wins the week. So Mr. NXT, quickly take a bow, and then we can get on out of here. And I know I do, so let's get going here.
Yeah, I mean, NXT kicked AEW's ass tonight. I mean, especially with that main event, that really kicked ass as well. So there's really nothing more to add. Let's just put a wrap on this pledge.
And we will call it a night, guys. This was a great night. Thank you, Anthony Floyo. Thank you, Michael Bullock, as always. And thank you guys, as always, as well. Like the video. Leave a comment at the bottom. Share with all your friends on all the social media platforms. We do this again on Friday night, right here on this channel at 10:30 Eastern, as we will be talking about SmackDown Live. And SmackDown, 2 weeks in a row, they've been hitting home runs. And now with the imminent debut of Matt Riddle, 2 semifinal fights in the Intercontinental title tournament, and what else are we going to get? Of course, we might get the Universal Champion, and maybe the continuation of one of the hottest storylines right now with Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, and it looks like the men are also going to be involved this week, possibly with Otis and Dolph Ziggler. We'll find out, as we're definitely on the road to Backlash. A lot of excitement coming on in WWE land, especially on the Blue brand. So, with that said, for Anthony Floyo, from Michael Bullock, I'm Michael Fletcher. Thank you very much, guys. We will see you on Friday, and until then, so long for now.
All right, I'll see you. I'll see you Friday, Florio.
SmackDown chat as always, I'm sure.
I, I might either be a little bit late or I might be on just for the show because the thing is, we have the Special Olympics
Oh, that's
virtual
right.
Summer Games opening ceremonies going on
Right.
Friday night. So
Okay.
yeah, so I might be a little late. I might be just for the show.